Good afternoon, YouTubians. Welcome back to the Openly Occultic Book Club. We're reading the definitive book of human design, and we're in section 9 where we're going over sample charts. In our last video, we read a sample chart for a manifester, and today we're going to go ahead and read sample charts for generators, a natural generator and a manifesting generator. So thank you for joining me. Make sure to share the video. We want more and more people to learn about human design so that we can have more people to talk about this with, right? This is an amazing system. We find it very interesting. We're intrigued and we want to, do an human design experiment, right? We want to see if this is all really true. So, again, share the video and thank you for joining me. Let's go ahead and jump in. Let's jump back into section 9.
All right, we're back in section 9, and we're going to look at a generator sample chart, right? The aura of a generator is different from a manifestor aura, right? The manifestor's aura is open and enveloping. Now, this is a sample chart of a 5-1 profile. Their strategy is to wait to respond. Their authority is in their sacral center, right? They're a generator, so their authority is their sacral. Um, their definition is single. They're a single definition person, meaning all of their energy centers that are defined are linked. So there's a continuous flow of energy. Um, their not self theme is frustration. And their signature is satisfaction. This is the profile chart of Julia Child. The incarnation cross that she has is the left angle cross of revolution. Wow. She had undefined head, undefined anja, undefined throat center, undefined heart center, undefined spleen, and undefined solar plexus. And she has 3 channels. The 63 channel of mutation, which is energy which fluctuates and initiates, or a pulse, if you will. The 14-2 channel, the beat, a design of being the keeper of keys. And the 515 rhythm channel, which is a design of being in the flow. So let's check this sample chart. Remember, we're learning keynoting while we're doing this. We're learning that when we just look at this chart, you could sum up what's going on with this person just by looking at it. Okay? And so what we're going to read next is basically what a professional human design analyst would do. They'd keynote or give you just, a quick summary of what you're dealing with, what they see in your body graph chart. And so as you learn more and more of what you're looking at, all these different symbols and what's being said here on a human design body graph chart, you will be able to easily sum up into small sentences what could actually be a long drawn out thing, but you can just kind of sum it up in a generalized form so that they have somewhere to start, right? So here's what the analyst would say for Julia Childs. You're a generator and you were born to work and to love your work. Your gift in life is to perfect or master a task, project, or skill. Your gift to the planet is the life force energy that you generate from your sacral center. When you're engaged in your correct work, you experience deep satisfaction. In order for you to find the work that will bring satisfaction, it's important for you to know yourself. And the truest path to knowing yourself is responding to life rather than initiating, right? It's a generator. So instead of initiating, you need to be responding, seeing whether or not you really want to be involved in what has been proposed to you, if you will, right? When you respond, you engage your sacral center in everything that you do. Your sacral center is the key to your happiness and satisfaction. The only way to truly know what's correct for you is by allowing your sacral center to be your guide for making decisions. To fully surrender to your sacral's built in navigation system, you must remain available to respond. Something or someone in your life asks you for your energy, and your sacral connects its energy to what is correct for your life purpose. In order for you to follow your sacral, however, you must surrender every picture that you have in your mind about what your life should look like. And your mind, in particular, is very open to the ideas and opinions of others. Remember, she has an open, undefined mind and Anja center, right? So for her, her mind in particular is very open to the ideas and opinions of others, right? But she needs to be her true self, her authentic self. She needs to be open to what she's into, not what other people say she should be doing, right? That's the difference. This is great. So, Julia Childs, you have a rhythm, however, and a direction in life that's very unique to you. And when you stay true to it, you can also influence and mutate the rhythm and direction of those around you as well. Ain't that the truth? And ain't that what she did? Hmm. A sacral response is a nonverbal sound from the gut. Okay. A yes is uh huh, which means you have the energy needed for the task. And a no is meaning you do not have the energy to commit. Sometimes you'll not have a response at all, which indicates either you do not have the energy or perhaps you have not been asked the correct question. Once your sacral responds, and you are engaged in an activity, you then go through a step by step perfecting and building process. You must cover all the steps in your process. You don't have a motor connected to your throat center, which is the gear shift for your design. And so you'll hit plateaus along the way. At each of those plateaus, you'll need to be initiated again by a new insight or new input or questions to respond to. Then, depending upon your response, you can engage in your work again. When you do not follow your strategy and authority, when you do not wait for life to come to you to respond and then honor the truth of that response, you experience resistance in your life. You experience what your mind thinks of as your not self, which means it's asking you to act like someone else. Frustration is the not self theme of a generator, and it's an important signpost for you. Frustration comes from either meeting internal or external resistance. And noticing your frustration lets you know when it's time to check in with yourself and see if you're pushing or initiating rather than responding. You can quit prematurely out of frustration if you don't understand what's happening. Trusting your sacral responses instead of making decisions with your mind can be a bit frightening at first. Over time, though, you'll get to know your body's intelligence. One of the great fears that generators have is, will I be asked? You have it built into your design, into the mechanics of your form, that you will be asked so that you can respond. Your aura is open and enveloping, and it pulls you to everything that you need in life. All you need to do is sit back and watch what your sacral responds to or not. Good information to know, right? Aren't you glad to hear that? Can't you kind of relax a little bit, my generators out there? I'm a generator, but I have an emo. My solar plexus is overriding the sacral. So, but if you're a generator, a sacral generator, sacral is your authority. Doesn't that, hearing that, doesn't that make you relax a little bit? Knowing you can just kind of sit back and wait. Your aura is actually designed to pull these things to you. Wow. So you don't have to wonder. All you have to do is respond when they come. Okay. Your profile, Julia Childs, the costume you wear in the world is the 5-1 or Heretic Investigator. Your profile is the role that you play in life so that your purpose can express itself. And you're here to investigate things deeply, right? That one line. Your role on the planet is very transpersonal, and you have the potential to universalize new and practical solutions for others in a very public way. I mean, isn't this what happened here with this person? There's an unconscious part of you that feels insecure without a firm foundation, though. And so you respond first to deeply investigating life and to discovering what authorities that you can rely on, right? We're talking about the cook, right? She investigated cooking food. Eventually, all your research and study will turn you into an authority yourself, and then you'll feel comfortable universalizing what you've learned to the public. And that's what she did in a big way, universalized. So, almost everybody done heard about Julia Childs, right? Uh, yes, it's in all the cooking classes, right? So this has become a part of life, part of the culture, the humanity of humans in so many ways. The heretic part of your profile is very seductive and draws people to you who project onto you that you can help or save them with your out of the box practical solutions. You'll also feel yourself at times projecting onto others that you can indeed save them. It's important that you do not initiate, however, and that you wait to be asked and answer yes only if your sacral responds, uh huh. Your sacral will know if this is the correct time for you to offer your heresy and for others to follow you in it. Your power to help others is more as a stranger of consequence. You're designed to step in when really needed and then step back out again, right? You're designed to step in when you're really needed and then go ahead and, you know, go on and remove yourself from the situation. People expect you to deliver the goods, so preparation and a solid knowledge base is crucial for your success and satisfaction. Otherwise, your reputation will suffer, right? They're the heretic, that five line. People expect you to save the day. And if you say that you can and you don't, your reputation will suffer, right? That line five is a projecting energy. This is what we've learned so far reading this book. So, yes, it's crucial for your success. Otherwise, your reputation will suffer. You want to leave them wanting more, right? Not sick of you and just please go home somewhere. You ain't help. You ain't no help. Get out of here, right? You want to leave them wanting more, knowing that you know what we actually can call on this person when we need some help. If they say they can do it, they can do it. That type of stuff. Otherwise, they gonna talk bad about you. The consistent energy that people experience from you is made up of the three defined channels in your design: the channel of mutation, which connects your root center to your sacral center. That's channel 60 and 3. And that channel is a very individual energy that fluctuates and initiates in an on off pulse manner, right? Like a light switch, on off, and a pulse, right? Coming from your root center, which we know is a motor. This is very creative and mutative energy, but you're not in control of the timing of the pulse. And you can spend a lot of time wondering when the next moment of creativity will show itself. You can even experience depression when it feels like nothing new and creative is happening in your life. This is a deep process of surrender, however, and melancholy and moodiness are also a part of it. If you try and give a reason for your moods, however, or to change them, you only make it harder on yourself. There's no reason. It's just the mechanical pulse of your individual creative and mutative process. Your energy is also very empowering to others and can mutate them in a new direction as well. So it's important that you let your sacral response guide you to those situations where people are truly ready for the mutation that you potentially bring. You're designed to sustain your own creative efforts or materially provide for and encourage people in their own creative endeavors. The channel of the beat, this 14-2 channel, is an unconscious energy that connects your sacral motor to your G center. This is very individual energy that empowers through example. And so your first task is to be true to yourself. Wait for life to come to you and show you potentials that you can't even imagine. Remain open and responsive to life. If you attempt to chase after or create your destiny, you'll end up feeling lost and frustrated. This energy is also about being the keeper of keys, the one who has the resources to turn the engine on and move in a new direction. It's only when you're asked, however, that you'll know what that key or direction is. You also have a magnetic presence that pulls others into your aura, your timing, and your flow. Through your channel of rhythm, also connecting your sacral to your G center, 5 and 15. You're constantly moved along by the river of life, vitally and intimately connected to its continuous flow. You appear to others to have your own sense of timing, which is determined entirely by your own inner rhythm. I think that's the channel that I have. That's the channel I'm talking about. And if the patterns or routines that you're living are natural and correct for you, then you should not allow nothing to interfere with them. If you live out the distortions and incorrect timing of the not self, however, you'll find yourself disrupting everyone's flow, beginning with your own. You're always in the right timing and flow when you follow your sacral response. Hmm. You have 6 undefined centers in your design, including the head, ajna, throat, heart, spleen, and solar plexus. These are the areas within you that are open to the conditioning of others, and you're very sensitive to what's going on in your environment. This openness can distract you from your own response and flow in life. What's going on outside of you can have you thinking about questions that don't matter to you, right? You have an open head center, so you're picking up on questions other people have. They don't really matter for you, or trying to answer everyone else's questions, right? Because you have an open Anja center. You're trying to help everybody answer everybody else's questions. In truth, you have a very open mind that can become very wise about what questions and answers really have value to you personally and to others when you universalize them. You can become very wise about what solutions have true practical value and do the research to support your answers. It's only by waiting to be asked and then responding, however, that you'll know what answer has value or not, right? So, yeah, only by following your sacral can you know what questions to worry about or what other answers to worry about. All those things. Um, this is very interesting. I could see the wholeness in it, right? We're individuals, but together there's a wholeness, and yes, it helps us continue on into the future. Through your open throat center, you can find yourself talking too much in order to attract attention or to prove your worth, right? Because you have also have an open heart center. You may feel pressured to know what you're going to do next or to jump into to try to save and people. Ooh, excuse me. You may feel pressured to know what you're going to do next or to jump in to try and save people in order to prove your value to others. Once again, you have tremendous resources available energetically that will support you personally and allow you to support others as well. But you'll only have access to these resources when the timing is correct. And you'll only know this if you respond from your sacral rather than react from your mind. You have the potential to become very wise about what really does have value to the public and to express it in a creative and empowering way. Hmm. You may also find your not self holding on to things that are not healthy for you, right? You have an open spleen center and avoiding confrontation and truth because you have an open solar plexus center. Your personal sacral authority operates in that moment, and your truth is available to you immediately through your response. If you don't speak your truth in the moment, however, because you're afraid that it will affect your security or upset someone, you can't stay true to your own rhythm and direction. Okay? Although it may feel confrontational to speak your truth, this is the greatest asset that you bring to the collective. You're a true heretic who will find new solutions for the issues that we face. You're designed to understand what people need and to attract attention in order to communicate and universalize something new to the world. Very insightful. Very insightful. You could just see how much information a person can get from one of these professional analysis. Somebody that can keynote your body graph. They're definitely giving you a blueprint on what you can do from here on out. You'll learn more along the way, but definitely, where do I start? I heard about human design. Where do I start? And for them to give you this keynoted information, you'll know exactly where to start. You'll know exactly what you need to start working on first of all, because you're breaking conditioning. You're breaking all the stuff that you've been taught to from a child. It's been conditioned into you about how you should be in this world, and it's simply not true. You're a unique person with a unique gift to give to the world. And you got to know about your superpowers, if you will, right? And so, knowing this, now you have somewhere to start. Everything you do in life that is not a sacral response is a distraction from what you're here to do, from the unique life purpose that only you can live out in the world. This life purpose only finds you, though, when you do not initiate, but rather wait to respond. Through your investigations and practical understanding of others, you have the potential to succeed in life and to bring a new revolutionary pattern and flow to society's creative process. You have the ability to organize and empower others to develop their own skills and to tap into their own creativity. You have a knack and capacity for expressing details which can bring discovery and metamorphosis to the public. By staying in your own flow and responding honestly to what life brings to you, you'll experience the satisfaction that is a signpost that all is well in your world. Yay! Yay, that was Julia Childs. Mm-hmm. Yep. If anybody listening knows about Julia Childs and you want to add to how true her keynote was, give us some more information. Let us know, just because all I know is, I think I've seen a few movies on her, autobiographies. I haven't read an autobiography, but autobiographical movies. I just know, was she French? Definitely European. Um, was her specialty bread or pasta? Just cooking in general? I don't know. Add the details so that we know just how true this is about her. If you know, add that in the comment section for us so we can learn more about how amazingly this lines up and resonates. Okay? All right, so we're now going to jump into a manifesting generator sample chart, right? Again, they're a generator, so their aura is open and enveloping. This person is a 3-5. Their strategy is to wait to respond, and their authority is emotional, right? Their solar plexus. Their sacral center is defined. That's what makes them a generator. Like, but their spleen is also defined, as we see here. We see their throat is defined. That's what makes them a manifester, a manifesting generator, instead of just a basic generator. And once your solar plexus is defined, that overrides that sacral. So yes, you wait to respond, but it's more of it's you go off of your emotional waves. You got to wait for clarity through your emotional waves instead of just going with that that naturally comes out, out your belly, basically when somebody asks you something. So, I'm thankful. I'm learning. They have a simple split definition. Their not self theme is frustration, and their signature is satisfaction. I gotta remember these things. I think I was frustrated sometime recently. I can't remember, but I gotta definitely remember these things. That's when I'm feeling frustrated. I'm out of alignment, right? I'm letting myself down. I'm not following my strategy and authority. That's why I'm frustrated. So yeah, little things. This is Ernest Hemingway. His incarnation cross was the right angle cross of laws. He had an undefined heart and head, right? And 4, 5 channels. The 63 channel of mutation, which is energy which fluctuates and initiates like a pulse. Uh, 3828, struggle, a design of stubbornness. 3410, exploration, a design of following one's convictions. 3635, transitorianist, a design of a jack of all trades. And 5611, curiosity, a design of the searcher. Hmm. You're a manifesting generator, a warrior Buddha who can move very quickly into action. Your gift is to discover through action how to make whatever you're focused on more efficient. In order to know what action is correct for you, however, you must be a Buddha first and sit under that tree and wait for life to come to you. Your strategy in life is to wait to be asked for your energy so that you can hear and feel your sacral response. Your sacral center is designed to respond through sounds that come from your gut as either a uh-huh for yes or uh-uh for no. Or you may respond by actually moving into action. Your responses are based on the availability or not of your sacral energy to connect to and do what you've been asked, right? Your defined sacral center is here to work and, more importantly, to love the work that you do to the point of completely using up your energy every day. Doing work that you love brings you a deep feeling of satisfaction. The correct work actually transforms your life and slows the degenerative process. It's very important for you to know yourself and understand your own process for finding the correct work, and you do this through responding. You can move directly from response to manifestation, which allows you to see the steps that are essential and the steps that can be skipped. This gift of efficiency creates a dilemma for you, however, as you can have a tendency to be so impatient and move through a task so fast that you miss steps. You sometimes have to go back and complete those missed steps. You can avoid this frustration, however, and actually increase your efficiency if you slow down enough to pay more attention to your responses as your process unfolds. It also helps for you to make lists. In addition to waiting to be asked for your energy so that you can respond, you also need to wait over time to know what your actual response or truth is. Your defined solar plexus is your authority, and it has a frequency, a wave that takes time to get you to a point of emotional clarity. Until you reach a calmer place in your wave, you're not ultimately sure if your responses that your sacral is having are your final truth. In other words, your truth comes to you over time when you have had time to process and surf your wave. Without waiting for emotional clarity, you can end up jumping into and out of things too quickly, which creates regret, crisis, and conflict in your life. Once you respond to something, it's very important to wait and allow yourself time to process your feelings. You're designed to take in the world and your experiences deeply. This is not a life to be lived at a superficial level. Take your time, and when your emotions clear, you'll know your response and decision. Often, your first response is the ultimate one, but by waiting, you gain more information and you allow the correct timing for the action that you're about to take to show itself. It's very good information to know. That's one of the things that I'm very thankful to know about once I learned about this in human design, this emotional wave. Because all my life, my solar plexus has been defined. All my life, I've had to deal with the emotional waves. They call it bipolar or manic depression because you can be very, very up And then you could go down, melancholy, depression, So to know that you have to wait for clarity when you're not up and you're not down. Well, I'm 45 as we speak. So just the wisdom of getting older, I've learned these things. I've learned to be patient and not answer or do something while I'm in my manic or melancholy emotional energy, right? But so I learned that on my own over time, but definitely reading about that in here, it gave me even more tools to use, and it just confirmed what I already knew to be true. And it confirmed that I have become an authority for myself as well. I didn't need nobody to tell me this information. I know I have emotional waves. I know it makes more sense to wait to when I'm not in a manic or in a melancholy depressed phase. Just over time as I got older and have had to live this life. But to read about it, it confirmed for me that yes, I have become an authority over time, over my own life. And you, if you're younger, learning about this information saves you a whole lot of time, right? It saves you time, and it saves you having to go through shit that you don't actually have to go through. So know this: if you have a defined solar plexus, you have emotional waves. They might have labeled you bipolar, ADHD, manic depression. They might have labeled you all these things. You just have a defined solar plexus, which is the seat of your emotional waves in all things. That's the seat of it. It's actually what Ra is saying is it's a center for spiritual awareness. You're tuned in. You're the empath, right? You're the one that feels the vibes and stuff, and it can affect you. So, knowing this information, now you can go forward and not feel so bad about who you are as a person. Start there. You can start to love yourself a little bit more and know that there's a gift in there. There's a gift in that, right? So, the costume that you wear in the world, the role that you're here to play is that of the martyr heretic. You're designed to learn about life through trial and error. Life bumps into you and you discover what does not work. You consciously experiment with life so that others who follow you can learn from your discoveries. And when you discover a practical and generally heretical solution that does work, you're able to step in with great power and conviction and speak out or stand up for what you believe. You don't necessarily conform to an established attitude, doctrine, or principle, and it may take courage to step up and express an unpopular truth. But you are wired to take the heat. You are extremely resilient and adaptable. And as a heretical agent of change, your trial and error process does not indicate failure, but rather the potential that something useful and helpful can be discovered and universalized. For you, the only failure is ignoring the discoveries that each trial and error brings you, right? You're learning something in all of this. Don't ignore it, pay attention. As a heretic, you also have a very magnetic and transpersonal aura, and others project onto you that you can somehow be helpful or save them. You can also begin to feel like the invisible person who is only visible when needed. And as soon as you save the day, you're invisible again, right? That Clark Kent, right? The people need you. Where is Superman? We need you. He jumps into the booth. He changes into the Superman outfit. Everybody sees him. But when he's done saving the day, he goes back and changes back into this. He just goes back to blending in with everybody else, right? He's just a boring newspaper guy, right? You can't see his hunkiness value, his hunkiness factor behind these glasses and these tweed suits, right? Come on, right? He's invisible. But anyway, if these expectations are not met, right? So, first of all, it's important to be aware of the projection and to be practical in your own life, right? You can't just be saving the day all the time. If these expectations are not met, your reputation can suffer as well. So, wait to be asked for your help. You're someone who can bring helpful solutions to others, but only after you've had time to master the world in your own way through discovering what does not work. When you wait to respond and give yourself time to emotionally process your decisions, you'll bump into the right situations that will lead you to the discoveries that can be of actual help to others when they really do need you, right? You have a split definition in your design. This means that you have two parts of your energy that can feel like they operate independently from each other. Sometimes you won't feel whole. The channels that connect your solar plexus, throat, and ajna centers are one half of the split, and the channels that connect your root, spleen, sacral, and G centers are the other. The open gates that can bridge your split are important for you as you can be conditioned greatly through them. When you're operating from your not self, these gates put you under pressure to initiate leading, right? Gate 7, the role of self. Pressure you to act in the now, gate 20, contemplation, the now. And pressure you to initiate conflict, gate 6, the gate of conflict or friction. And pressure you to go searching for the spirit in life. Gate 55, abundance in spirit, right? So let's scroll up. Let's go back to the chart. We're saying that these open gates can bridge the split. These open gates would be gate 7. Let's go to gate 7 and see what's being said here. We'll see where gate 7 is. Gate 7 is in the yellow one, the G center. If gate 7 was defined, you would have a flow from the ajna to the throat, to the G center, to the sacral, to the root, over to the spleen, also from the throat down to the solar plexus. So it would all be one continuous flow of energy. Nothing, there will be no broken connections if they had gate 7, but they don't. Also, if they had gate 20, right? If they had it, but that gate 7, because they don't have it, they have the pressure to initiate leading. Gate 7 is the role of self. We saw it was in the G center. So they'll want to lead. They'll feel the pressure to be a leader or to initiate leading. If they had gate 20, contemplation, the now, they would feel the pressure. Since they don't have it, they feel the pressure to act in the now. Because they don't have it, they feel the pressure to act in the now. If they did have it, it would complete the circuit and have one continuous flow of energy through all their centers. Gate 20 is located where? I see it in the throat center. On the left side above gate 31, which is defined, above that, gate 20 in the throat center, if it was defined, you would have a continuous flow from the head to the throat. I mean, the ajna to the throat. From the throat, it's going to the solar plexus, but it would also go from the throat down to the G center. And as we see from the G center, it already goes down to the sacral. The sacral is already connected to the root. The root is already connected to the spleen. So if they had 20, they would have a continuous flow through all centers. You see it? But since they don't, there's no connection from the throat to the G center. hmm Also, if they had gate 6, it will continuously flow. But since they don't have it, they feel pressure to initiate conflict because gate 6 is the gate of conflict. If they had it, they would have a continuous flow. Gate 6 is here in the solar plexus in the left corner triangle. Gate 6, if they had it, they would have a continuous flow from the ajna to the throat, to the solar plexus, to the sacral, down to the root, over to the spleen, also from the sacral going on up to the G center, and they would have a continuous flow if they had gate 6. But since they don't, they feel the pressure to start shit. It's like that meme with Kermit. It's like, go ahead and leave them people alone. And then the Kermit is like, nah, go ahead and start some shit. Choose violence. They feel the pressure to initiate conflict. And also, last but not least, Gate 55. They don't have Gate 55. So they feel the pressure to go searching for the spirit in life. If they had it, this Gate 55, which is abundance in spirit, it will have a continuous flow through all their defined centers. Gate 55 is located in the solar plexus, right? The spirit of life, the emotional center, the spirit awareness, the area of spirit awareness. They're searching for the spirit of life. They feel the pressure to search for the spirit of life because they don't have Gate 55. It's down there in the solar plexus. If they had it, they'd have a continuous flow and they wouldn't feel the pressure to have this to search for the spirit of life. That energy would already be flowing through their solar plexus constantly. So they wouldn't have to worry about it or wonder about it. Um, if they had gate 55, they'd have a continuous flow from the ajna to the throat down to the solar plexus. It will connect the solar plexus to the root. The root's already connected to the spleen. The root is also already connected to the sacral, and the sacral is already connected to the throat. So you would have a continuous flow if they had gate 55. If they had one of those gates, one of those four, they'd have a continuous flow. But they don't, and instead they feel these different pressures because they feel it missing. So if you initiate rather than waiting to respond over time, you create resistance in your life. You get involved in the wrong romantic and intimate encounters that lead to conflict, and you provoke the wrong spirit from life. Initiating can also result in you getting involved in incorrect leadership roles and in acting spontaneously in the now, which is contrary to your personal authority of waiting for emotional clarity, right? When you align with your spirit, I'm sorry, when you align with your strategy and authority, you respond over time, giving yourself an opportunity for clarity. Then you can get involved in the correct intimate relationships and the correct conflicts. You can discover the spirit in life that is correct for you and lead others correctly when it's appropriate and contemplate and observe in the moment rather than act in the moment spontaneously. Very bad for you to do if you're emotional, if you're emo authority. If your authority is emotional, they're in the solar plexus. You got to stop all that spontaneous stuff because you have to wait for clarity through your emotional waves, right? So you got to slow down and wait for clarity. You have a lot of life force energy, right? Because your sacral center, which is a generator, is defined. So you got a lot of life force energy that you put out to others through the channels that are defined in your design. The channel of mutation 63 that runs between the root and sacral centers is an energy that fluctuates and initiates. You're very creative and mutative, but this energy operates in an on off pulse. There's always the possibility for some new creative impulse to come out of you or through you for others. But you're not in control of the timing of this. You can spend a lot of time wondering and even depressed about when the next pulse of creativity will show itself. It's important for you to accept the limitation inherent in this process by simply surrendering and waiting for the next pulse of creativity. Right? Isn't that great to know? Let it go because there's nothing you can do about it. You just got to wait. It'll be on time when it comes. Yes, melancholy and moodiness are also a part of this process. Aren't you glad to know? There's nothing wrong with you, it's part of it. When you try and give a reason to your moods, you enter into the world of the not self. You ain't got to explain it. There's no reason for the timing of there is no reason for the timing of mutation. It's simply the pulse of the individual and creative process. This is what comes along with the creative process. The space in between the creativity, when something's in the background about to be born, about to be manifest, that energy, that chemical process in between is manifested as melancholy. It's a chemical process. Yes, we're very glad to know this. Yeah, we're into alchemy. We know that our body is a chemistry set, a chemistry lab. All that farting and burping you do. Your body's a chemistry lab, you know it. It's chemicals going on, and some things are agreeable. You got indigestion and shit. You slamming, you hitting your chest, trying to get that on up out of you. Yeah, it's flask. Your body's a big old flask. All kind of chemicals and shit is all bubbling around, and what do you think? So you feel melancholy, and we just want you to know that you're the flask. Your body's a flask. There's chemicals going on, bubbling inside of you. Something is about to be creative. That space before it's created, all that bubbling going on in your flask. Yeah, that melancholy. It feels like melancholy. It is melancholy in your life. Now we know. Now we know. Glad to know. Really, we're very thankful. The channel of struggle, 3828, runs between your root and splenic centers. You have the stubborn determination to go your own way in life against even the most overwhelming odds. You're here to discover meaning and a purpose in the struggles that you meet along your unique path. There's nothing more satisfying or healthy for you than to stubbornly stand up against the odds, or even risk losing a sense of security for some cause that you feel is worth fighting for, when correct to do so, right? Mm-hmm. Let me grab some water, guys. Yep, I'm starting to get a little cold. The weather done changed. I'm in Texas, and that season changed quick all of a sudden. So, yeah, getting a little cold. That's all right. I take plenty of herbs, and you can too. We have them available at cedargroveherbs.com. I'm taking my burdock root. I'm taking harataki. I have some dandelion. You know. I also have some elderberry. Right. We going into winter. We into fall, going into winter at some point. So, and make sure you hydrate your skin. Right. Get some lotion going on. This dry, cold weather can be harsh on your skin. Get you some lotion and stay hydrated, guys. Drink your waters and keep your skin moisturized. It says that let me see. Your personal search for what makes your life worthwhile and your unique struggles are examples that push and empower others. Your energy encourages them to struggle with the need to pursue their own individuation process and search for deeper life purpose, right? They see you struggling, you're really taking it serious, you're really into it, and you're like, you know what, maybe I need to be worried a little bit more about this. Maybe I should, you know, search deeper also. This producing is not always comfortable for you, though, or well received by others. So don't let your mind choose your battles. You need to respond to struggles in order for them to have value for you. There is internal stress that can build up in you when you can't adequately explain or correctly live out the struggles that you've engaged in, that creates an excess of energy in the body. Regular exercise releases that pressure so it can move through you in a healthy way. Mm-hmm. Yes. I'm thinking lymphatic system in my mind. Yes. Mm-hmm. You are also here to follow your own convictions, no matter how unusual they are. The channel of exploration, 3410, that runs between your sacral and G centers, only operates correctly if you act and behave as yourself, despite any interference and without guilt. Right? You don't feel bad about it. You are who you are, and that's that. You don't have to feel bad about being you. and get the hell away from people trying to make you feel bad about being you. The guidance and timing of your sacral's responses are what makes it possible to follow your convictions in satisfying ways. When you live authentically, you demonstrate to others the benefits of perfecting their own behavior through response, and you empower others to get in touch with their own convictions to love themselves. Right? You're mad at me because I'm living my authentic self. Maybe you should learn to live your authentic self so that you can stop all this judging and being mad at me because I have the freedom and courage to be me and you don't. You can be you too. Okay, let me show you how. And all you can do is just be an example, right? Your open and enveloping generator aura combined with the channel of exploration can attract a great deal of attention. Whether or not this attention is positive is completely dependent on your willingness to patiently tune in to your correct timing and responses. hmm When you do, you're living the true potential for empowerment and mutation that only individuality can bring into the world. The opposite not self expression of this channel, not operating the response, is very rigid and can sound selfish and self centered. I'm going to be like this whether you like it or not. You can be any way you please, just don't interfere with me and my way. hmm You're driven to seek experiences which promise something new and better in life through the channel of transitorianness, right? 3635, which runs between your solar plexus and throat centers. This is your emotional wave, and you're designed to be a jack of all trades who is on an emotional journey to gather wisdom experientially. You're pushed along through life by the constantly changing perspectives of your unaware wave, and you can become volatile or feel let down if a new experience fails to meet your expectations. The secret is to embrace and accept your emotional swings, give yourself time to make emotionally clear decisions, and surrender to fully living each correct experience in the moment, simply for its own sake, without expectation. That's key. Without expectation. One of those emotional ways is based on expectations. The emotional wave just builds up, builds up, it builds up because you got all these expectations, and then it crashes and falls because you're let down from these expectations that you build up in your mind. Let it go. Let it go. Enter into all experiences if you can without expectations. Then you won't feel let down if it doesn't go as you expected it. Then you won't have a violent mood swing, right? So just little tools, little knowledge that you can use to help you live a better quality of life. Nobody likes those crashes. Don't nobody like to feel let down and now you're all depressed and you're beating yourself up. Why didn't I see this coming? How did I let them do this to me? And it's like you actually let them do this to you. You're the reason why you're so depressed after being let down because you let expectations build up and you didn't have to. Surrender. Please surrender. That's what is being said here. It said this is the secret. This is your secret. Your secret is to embrace and accept your emotional swings. Just go ahead and accept it. Give yourself time to make emotionally clear decisions and surrender to fully living each correct experience in the moment, simply for its own sake. Right? This is what is life. This is life. So do all that without expectation. Over time and with maturity, your experiences will culminate as emotional depth, as your personal truth. The core of this truth is accepting life for what it is. If you find yourself nervous or uneasy about committing to a venture, take advantage of waiting out your wave. It may be a lifesaver. As you learn over time that feelings are transitory, your advice to others will be to seize the moment and to partake in each promising new experience that's correct, rather than live with a sense that nothing in life ever amounts to anything, right? Your great accomplishment in life is that you'll have tasted, touched, and felt many things from which you glean wisdom of great value. This is wisdom that you make available to others in the form of stories. You inspire people with tales of your exploits and your sense of fulfillment in the richness of a life well lived to enjoy their own experiences. Hmm. Hmm. Your creativity and style of presentation can be magical as you weave together your ideas and stories, even your jokes, from your catalog of philosophical reflections on what it means to be a human being experiencing life. Through the channel of curiosity, 1156, that runs between your throat and ajna centers, you have an enviable gift for taking a sequence of ideas and fashioning a story out of it that can teach or entertain an audience. Even if these stories are somewhat exaggerated or contain some half truths, like a child telling you about his day at school, you'll still draw others in and stimulate them. Your capacity to believe in something makes it true for you because you're less interested in facts than you are in how your stories illustrate and teach. Your stories are more like parables or discourses on life. Even though they flow from your personal experiences and discoveries, your stories are not as useful a guide for you, however, as they are for others. Your stories are to be shared, collected, and stored for reflection and interpretation by present and future generations, right? The stories don't help you, it's the experience that helps you. And now, through the experience, you have a story to tell. The story is not for you to learn or to get something from, the story is to be shared for others to learn from. Yes. You have two undefined centers in your design, the head and the heart, that can be distractions for you. Your completely open head center pressures you to search for the next inspirational idea and to think about questions that don't really matter to you. The wisdom that you can develop through responding to life and waiting for emotional clarity is to discern which questions do matter and to know who or what is inspirational. Your undefined heart causes you to try and prove your worth by making promises that you don't have the willpower to keep. You're under pressure to be the first and the best, and to try and control the circumstances of whatever you've committed to. You have nothing to prove to yourself or anyone else, however, and overcommitting to things and making promises that you can't keep puts tremendous pressure on your heart, your physical heart, actually. This can cause heart problems. For someone with an undefined heart or willpower center, trying to keep promises can cause you to have heart problems. Remember that. We read that in like the beginning of the book. So just so you know, you are not built with the willpower to keep promises, promises to yourself or to others. And it actually puts a strain on your heart, your physical heart. You can literally break your own heart. Hmm. Heart problems, all that. Yeah, isn't that good to know? It's good to know. So, the best way for you to get involved in things is through your strategy of responding and your authority of waiting for emotional clarity. In summary, you're designed to be influential, creative, mutative, determined, experiential storyteller. Adventure, determination, and exploration are what drive you. You'll want to do things in your own way, discovering something new as you go through life and attracting the attention of others along the way. You'll operate by your own rules or laws, providing leadership by standing up against the odds for what you believe in. Adversity motivates you, and you're designed to have and share many experiences in this life. Others will be inspired by your determined self sufficiency and expression. Your creative bursts come and go and are a big part of your life as they fuel everything that you do. When you initiate or jump into situations too quickly, you end up involved in the wrong intimacies and romances. when you fall into the trap of thinking you have to prove yourself. Remember that there is tremendous power in your aura, and it operates correctly through responding and waiting for emotional clarity. Your aura pulls people to you. You don't have to do anything. It's built into your design that you'll attract the correct relationships, struggles, and adventures, which will be the grist for your later storytelling. In the end, this is what brings you satisfaction. All right, so that'll be the end. We're going to wrap that up today. When we come back, we'll go ahead and look at a sample chart of projector. All right, good stuff, good stuff. Um, Interesting for me. I've met a lot of Aquariuses that are projectors. I'm wondering if any other sign is a projector. Is there any other zodiac sign that's a projector? Any of you out there are projectors and you're not an Aquarius? Because every Aquarius I've met is a projector, and I find that interesting. Anyway, thank you guys so much for joining me today. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. I appreciate you guys leaving your comments and liking the videos. Wow, we're getting more subscribers on the channel. I made a post a month or two ago saying that we're at 23. Oh, no, it was actually I made this post like 2 weeks ago, I think it was, and I was talking about how we're at 20. When I made the post, we were at 23 subscribers. I said as soon as we get to 50, I'll start going live on this channel. Um, Now we're at 27. So we're getting there. I'm going to just test some of my equipment and make a few other videos in addition to these book club videos. And hopefully soon we'll have some changes on the way. I'm excited about any changes that I have planned down the line. So thank you for those who have subscribed to the channel and are liking the videos and sharing them. I really appreciate you guys being there on this journey with me. So, with that being said, I hope you guys have a great weekend. Wholeness and balance.